In today's tutorial we'll be covering everything from the basics of web design in Figma to some advanced tips and tricks. Whether you are a beginner or looking to level up your skills, this video has something for everyone. Alright designers, grab your creative hats and let's embark on this web design Figma journey together. But before we dive in, and if you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button below so you never miss my design tutorials. And now we are in Figma, so let's create a new project. Click here on design file, drafts, and here we go, the new project is created. Let's give it a name, web design. And first of all, let's change the page background to be a bit darker, dark gray. Now we can create the first frame, which is artboard. Press F key on your keyboard and you see different frame options here. I want desktop, this one, and here is our artboard created. Let's make it longer by dragging this, because our website will be quite long, and rename it to web. Cool! Quick tour over Figma. As you've already noticed, here we have the different parameters of the selected object or the file in general. You can switch between design and prototype, but it's not needed in this tutorial. On the left part we have a layers panel and assets panel. This is the toolbar. From here you can access various actions. You can create objects like rectangles, ellipses, lines and so on, frames, which I've just created here. You can also access this from here. Pen tool to create different vector shapes, text tool, resources for your components, plugins and so on, hand tool. Usually to navigate across your project I hold space, and by clicking the left mouse key I can navigate in my project if it's too big. And comments, this is nice when you collaborate with your teammates or with clients, but we don't need it in this tutorial. Alright, every website usually starts with the navigation, and most of the times it's the top navigation bar. And for our purpose we need to create the dark layer first. I press R key, which stands for rectangle, and simply start dragging a rectangle. I want it to be 800 height. You can set it here. And on top of this rectangle I can start creating my menu bar. But we forgot about one important thing, the grid system for this website. And to create this I select the entire artboard, and here I can see layout grid. Click plus, and I don't want the grid to be like this, I want columns, so I click here and I select columns. And let's have 12 columns, type center, and the width for each column will be set to 80. Perfect. Now we can align all our objects of our website based on this column grid. If you find value in today's video, a thumbs up would be very much appreciated. As I have all the assets ready, I will simply drag and drop them in my project, but you can download the same assets from the link in the description. I will add it there, and this will be our logo. Now let's give it a name next to logo. I push T key on my keyboard, and let's call the website Plantoria. Give it a nice font. Let's use this font called Jost. Looks pretty nice, white color but slightly bigger size, something like this. And I want to add this logo into auto layout. I press Shift A, and now these two elements turn into auto layout component, and you can control the sizing between objects here, which is quite cool, especially if you have many objects. I will show you later. Let's set it to 12, and it's perfectly aligned on the horizontal line. You can change the alignment here. Now I want to create my menu. I press T key again and start creating menu. Let's start with home, 16 pixel size, white color. Then if I want to duplicate something, I can press Command D or Ctrl D on Windows, and the layer is duplicated here. Now I just drag it by holding Shift. This will leave the objects on the same line, and rename it to projects. For menu items like projects, I will have the drop down. So I want to create an arrow pointing down, and I press P key, which stands for pen tool here. Hold Shift to have perfect 45 degrees angle, and create an arrow like this, white color. And now I will add these two elements in auto layout again. Shift A. So it's aligned on the same horizontal line. Give it spacing of 8. And the fun part starts. So I select both home and this menu item and add them both into auto layout again. Let's rename it to menu. The first layer rename to logo. Keep this good habit of renaming your layers, because it will help you to navigate in your project when it gets bigger, and also the developers will say you a big thanks when they will take over this project and start developing. So okay, let's have spacing of 40 pixels, and now I select this menu item with a drop down arrow and start duplicating. Command D and Command D again. You see these elements, they take the same distance, and now I can rename them to what I need. Let's call it solutions and resources. What else do I need in my menu? I need search. I simply copy paste and everything is aligned perfectly. Here I want to set it to be horizontally aligned in one line. What else do I need? I need some button. And for nature ecology related website, I think the perfect button will be donate. Let's copy the home item and call it donate. Add this into auto layout again so we can have a button, and I will add stroke, change it to white, and here I can add the horizontal padding. Let's have 20, and vertical padding. Let's have 8. Here I can control my corner radius. I can simply press, hold and move my mouse to set the radius to whatever I want, or I can type the value I need. Okay, we have the menu ready. Let's move it on our grid, and I will change constraints to have the right alignment, because if I change anything, this will always be aligned to the right, or if I add any elements. So it's nice. For this element we have left alignment. Cool. To disable the grid, I can press Ctrl G, and now I will add some background image. For background images I usually use the website called pexels.com. A really nice website with tons of free images. I can search nature, I can filter orientation to be horizontal, and that's how I find pictures to fit my needs. I've already done this homework, so I have all these images ready. You can do it by yourself using pixels. So to put the image instead of this color, I will go here into fill and change it to image. Now I choose image, and here I will select image of this eagle. Great. Just one little note is that I want to have text on the left and the eagle is also on the left, so I want to turn this image horizontally. For this I press Shift H and the image turns like this. If I want to reflect it vertically, I can press Shift V, but I don't need it here. Nice. Let's start adding some welcome text. And for the welcome text I want the different font. Let's have some serif family font. I remember there was a really nice one called Caslon something. Libre Caslon display. Set it to 64, and I want this text to take only 6 columns like this. What I recommend you to do is for big fonts, for titles, headlines, to have a negative letter spacing, usually -3 or -4%. It makes the big text look really nice. And for this one I will also decrease the line height. Now I will add some text at the bottom. Let's add these 2 pieces of text into auto layout, Shift A, and have 24 pixels distance between them. Align them perfectly. Now I want to add some CTA, but it will be a bit different than this donate button. It will say learn more, and I also want to add another element inside. Okay, let's decrease top and bottom padding to 2, and if you click this you can control the right, left, top, bottom padding separately. So right padding I will also set to 2 pixels, but I want this to be slightly bigger perhaps, so the button is not that small. And set the distance between these 2 objects to 16. Remove stroke, add fill, black color, but with some opacity. 50% would be enough. Nice. And I want to put this arrow icon inside this circle. But if I paste the arrow like this, it will get into the same auto layout component. And I want it to be on top of this circle, so I select them both and group them by pressing Command G or Control G on Windows, and I have this circle and arrow inside of one group. Then I align them horizontally and vertically to be like this. Let's rename it. Great. If you want to control the image placement, you can also go here and select crop, and that's how you can drag the image to be at the position that you want. I want to bring this eagle upper Okay, good. Another things I want to add here is who is the photo owner. Here at the bottom, photo by Pixabay, because it was the account who owned this photo on pexels.com. Maybe make this text slightly smaller and right alignment in case we want to change the photo owner. Copy this. I can drag it by holding Alt and Shift. Change the alignment, and I want to show what kind of photo this is, what number in total number of photos. So it's the first out of 3. And let's create a few boxes. If I want to copy this color, I press Ctrl C and I can pick whatever color I want on my page, but I want this green. Now let's create a few more boxes, but this time it will be white with some opacity. If I want to quickly change the opacity, I press number keys on my keyboard. So if I want opacity of 40, I press 4. If I want 50, I press 5, and so on. Let's add all of them into auto layout with distance of 8 and duplicate one more time. Nice. Everything is perfectly aligned. To see the numbers, the distances between object, I hold Option or Alt key and I can see the distance to whatever object I'm pointing to. Looks like we have the hero section ready. Let's group all of them together and press Command G to group it. Call it hero. The next section for us will be let's add some words from the company founder. I will bring back my grid and I will create the portrait of the founder. I will go here, choose image. This girl looks good for our purpose, and select crop, so I can crop the image however I want to leave only the face, maybe even bigger. Looks good. And I will add some text, but for this text I want it to be the same font as this, but slightly smaller. To copy the font style, I can press Option Command C, then select the layer and press Command Option V, and it will inherit all the styles from the layer that I took it from. But this is too big. I want to have something smaller and tweak the line height as well to be 64. 48, no, it's not enough. 56 looks good. And I think it's time for us to introduce some styles, because we have a lot of different fonts, we start having more colors. That's why I prefer to create my style guide at the early stage, so I can reuse these styles again and again. It will speed up the process. This is the biggest font on the page. Let's assign it. You can click here, then create style, and this will be H1, which is headline 1 in the HTML CSS terms. This font will be H2. Let's actually bring them here so we can see them all together. Copy it one more time because I want to have the same font but slightly smaller. Yep, something like this. This will be our H3. And also let's bring all these guys here so we can assign the styles for them as well. This I will call big text. This is medium, and this will be our body text. And the smallest one I will simply call the small text. We see all the text styles here on the right. Now let's also add some color styles. For this green I will call it brand green. We also use this dark gray as our text color. This will be simply dark gray. I think we'll also need some light gray. If we don't like it, we can tweak it later, but for now let's call it light gray. And maybe add white as our color as well. Good. Let's continue. Now I can simply select the small text from here, and I see that the text layer changed to small text. This will be the name of our company founder. Good. And I want to highlight some text inside this quotation to be like this. Looks good. We can remove this, we no longer need it. And I want to have some quotation marks here. Let's find some nice looking quotation marks. Okay, this looks good. I will turn it into vector shapes. Right click my mouse and choose outline stroke. Now I can resize it however I want, and I will assign it to the light gray color, which is too light. I want something slightly darker. Yep, like this. Good. I think we can have some fancy background for this section. This. To move the layer in the stack of layers, I hold Command and press square brackets. And this will be our mask layer. Let's just make sure that all these things are aligned properly inside the layer. And I want the top and bottom margin to be 120. I can also make it like this. If I see that this distance is 113 and I want 120, I can write +7 and the height changes. Great, this will be our mask. Let's select all of them, group them and call it quote. Now I want to turn this layer into mask. Right click and use as mask. Now whatever is inside this mask, it will be cut to fit the mask. I want to have some blur here, effects, add, and change the drop shadow to layer blur, but I want it to be much bigger, 800, and maybe change the layer to be bigger and change to some green values, just like this. Copy this one and drag it here and have this one as yellow. I think it looks nice. We can close this and move on to the next section. Let's call the next section recent projects and have the H2 as the section name. Make the proper distances. Let's turn on the grid and create a few boxes for our layers here inside this section. I will have some corner radius, 8 pixels. And have a grid like this. Now I will assign the pictures to each of these boxes. And for each of these boxes I want to have some text. Let's make it big text with 24 from the left, 24 from the bottom. Copy this one here. This one we will name as the name of the park in South America. Let's group them. Here I will have some fancier look with a headline and some description text below. This text will be smaller, not body text but a small text. Let's select them and add to auto layout. Have the distance of 8 and align them to the bottom as the rest. But here I want to add a button to learn more, and for this purpose let's create some text. I will copy this icon here and add them both into auto layout. Have them green, add fill of the white color, and on left and right let's have padding of 20, top and bottom 12. No, 12 is a lot. 8. Align them vertically and put this guy to the right with constraints like this. Actually we might don't need the text here. Let's remove the text. The arrow will be enough, but we'll copy this button and put it here to have the button to explore more projects. So let's bring the text back, but we will flip the colors. The button will be green and the text will be white. Like this. Actually it will be the body text, not the big text, and it will say explore more. Let's align them like this and actually add some top and bottom padding. This looks nicer. Put it to the right. Awesome. The next section is ready. Select everything, group it and call it projects. The next section I want to make like a separation between this and what will come next. So I will have some light gray color, and it will be the section called our mission with some stats, some counters of how many parks built and so on. Big text, dark gray. Let's copy this one, but it will be the H3. This thing will take maybe 6 columns we'll decide later. And let's create a few counters. This one I will make bigger, maybe even H1. And this will be the liters of water cleaned. Why not? Small text, the fill color dark gray. Let's select both of them. Auto layout 12. Yeah, 12 is good. And I will add some icons here. These are all the icons I will need. For this one it will be a water icon. Align it like this, and 16 or 12. 12 looks better. Add them to another auto layout, and let's align them on this column. Now copy and drag it here. Replace the icon to this one. This will be about parks. So 85k hectares of parks. Let's select both of them, copy and drag it here, and this will be about people. How many people are involved? Let's call them activists. And this one about species. Here, remember to replace something, I press Command-Shift-R. This looks very nice. Let's rename the layers, tweak the size, and group everything together and call it numbers. It's time to create another section, which will be resources. It will inherit some elements of this project section, so let's drag and copy this one, but rename it to resources. Maybe we don't need this button here. Let's bring it here, and I want 3 elements that take the width of the page, but I want these two to be in the same auto layout, like this, and change this one to be 4 columns. Looks good. Let's bring this to the top and give this the fill light gray, like this. The text will be dark gray, and we call it partnership. This will be the first box. Let's copy it 2 times, but the layout will slightly change. This one will be other organizations, and this one will be articles. Now I start noticing the problem that the big font, the big text is not that big, but I can change it, and it will affect the entire document because we have the styles assigned. And if I change the big text to be, let's say, 24, it will affect the entire document. That's why having styles is so important. This box will be green and the text will be white. And these two boxes I will swap the colors of the arrow and the button. Maybe let's do 16 instead. No, it's good. Copy and replace. Let's also replace these texts. For all the copies, for all the texts, I recommend you to use ChatGPT. Very powerful tool. I use it a lot, not only in my personal projects but for client projects as well, because it's much better to fill the copy with something real, not just lorem ipsum and so on. Just ask ChatGPT to write some text on the nature ecology topic and you can get all the text you need. And paste it here and here. And now let's add some fanciness to these boxes. Let's copy this background and change this box size to be a square. Here I want to add an image of mountains, or yeah, this looks cool. To control the corner radius at the top, I press there and change it to be like this. But what I see here is that I want this photo to slowly disappear, go into the background color. For this I can create the layer on top of it and assign the gradient to it. The first point of the gradient will be this, and the second point will be 0 opacity. That's how I can make this image slowly go into the background color. There are other ways as well. And now let's add our logo here as a part of the image. Have it like this, but we need to create the mask layer, and probably I will assign the gradient fill for this logo as well. And make it 20 opacity. Good. Actually, for the organizations, I will create some organization logos at the top to add some nicer look and feel. Let's do like this. Duplicate it. Let's change the color slightly so we can see how far it goes. 40 is okay. Add them both to auto layout. Wait, minus 16, yeah, this. I think 4 logos will be enough. Let's now just find some company logos to put here. I will go to Google, copy the image, select the layer and paste it. 3 more to go. Looks amazing. Now the articles, and for the articles I will copy this guy here and put it here. Wait, what is happening? I will have this guy. Wait, okay. Overlay. Flip it vertically, Shift V. Put it here, and I will change the corner radius to 8 at the top and 0 at the bottom. Now I will just need the image to replace. This looks great. all the articles. And we have the resources section ready. Rename it, and I will go for a small break. See you in a few minutes. Welcome back. Let's continue to the next section. And the next section will be how we work. And I think it will look pretty similar to our mission. So let's just copy it, drag it here. Here it will say how we work. And I will paste some text here. I think in this section we'll swap the placement of the counters and the text, and let's allow the text to be wider. Put this guy here and remove the rest. This will be for the team members because it's about the company. And let's replace this icon with the user. And below I think we'll add the join us button, and just for the sake of some beauty let's add a few more elements. This will be join us. Let's change the constraints to left. And next to the button I will have a few circles with water, fire, land. We can copy this, I think, put it here. We need to change the size so it fits the button. The button is 48 pixels high. So let's select all of them and change them to 48. Put the button next to it. And now I will change these images to be fire, lava, grass and things like that. This will be lava, and this one will be grass, and the last one will be water. Looks good. Just one small touch. I think the button should look different. So let's have a different style for this button. No fill, and the icons, the text will be gray. Good. This section is done. Let's move on to the next one. And in this section I will show the endangered species. Let's change this one to the picture of Leo. Beautiful. And I will simply create the auto layout and have a few of them. Actually, wait. I will also want for these animals to have a little counter at the bottom, which is saying how many species left. I need to create a group with the image so I can put anything inside of this group. And here I will say 33 left. White color into auto layout, fill black, 50% opacity. Change the paddings and change the corner radius. Now I can put it below. Let's do 8. Yeah, it's much better like this. And now I can copy this box 6 times. Okay, it fills the entire grid. This one will be German Rhino. Let's change the image to Rhino. And one by one, let's fill the boxes with the images. Great, we've done all 6. The section is ready and only the last section left, which is our footer. Let's create a footer, make it dark, and in the footer I will have several columns with links, like a sitemap, and the icons leading to the social networks and to send an email, to contact us. Let's call the first column company. It will be big text, and below we have several links, which is about, but make them smaller. And maybe let's give it some opacity of 80. Let's add them all into auto layout, 16 pixels, and just copy several times. This will be partners, this is blog, and this is jobs. The last one will be slightly separated and we'll call it Connect with Us. I will add the social network icons there, and also the connect us via email. But I will need all these as the horizontal thing. Let's make them 40% opacity, and for this one I will create a button, an auto layout, and I will call it email us. Give it some stroke. Let's select all of them, group it, and call it footer. We no longer need this. Congratulations, you made it that far and the website is ready. You can put it in your portfolio if you want, and I will be happy to see you in my next tutorial. Thank you very much for joining me today. If you learned something new, push the like button below. Your support means the world to me. Let me know in the comments if anything wasn't clear. I will try to answer all your questions. I can't wait to see all the incredible designs you'll create in Figma. Until next time, keep designing, keep creating, and most importantly, keep being awesome.